My name's Lazybed, and I've been a fight fan for over 30 years. As an accidental industry insider, I've become a staple in the chat rooms of some of your favorite podcasts.
I'm Danger Mouse, an Englishman by blood, a Yorkshireman by the grace of God, a dedicated, devoted, and often sleep-deprived casual fan who once upon a time did earn a black belt in Japanese Jiu-Jitsu.
And my name is Austin, aka No Special, a former wrestler with a knack for all things grappling, who's not afraid of a fiery take or ruffling some feathers.
Together, we combine our individual expertise to dive deep into the current events and ongoings in the world of mixed martial arts, the big and the small. This is the Weekend Roundup.
Hey up, you bleeders. Just when you thought the UFC couldn't get any lower than fights in a warehouse, they exceeded our expectations and took the Octagon to Baku in Azerbaijan. I'm your host, Danger Mouse, and this is episode 102 of the Weekend Roundup. No hate for Baku or Azerbaijan, by the way, just spitting facts, spreading a little education, because Baku is 28 meters, that's 92 freedom units, below sea level, which makes it the lowest lying national capital in the world and the largest city in the world below sea level. So just remember that for your next pub quiz. With that relatively useless piece of information shared, I guess we should get onto the subject of hand, which is, of course, the fights. As per usual, I'm joined by my pals from across the pond. That's presuming, of course, that they've survived the invasion of UK World Cup fans who have been drinking bars and towns dry across the country. Hopefully they haven't found our man in California's IPAs, and even if they do, it's rumoured he has a secret stash of twisted teas that he thinks no football fan would touch. Well, he's wrong about that. If it has alcohol in it, a Scotsman will drink it, especially after losing a match. So how you doing, Austin?
Hey, how you doing, man? That's good. It's true.
Constant veiled attempts on this script, and I'm doing okay.
But no, it's good. It's a good weekend so far. A little in need of rehydration, so we're good. Fights are fun, and I'm ready to talk some fights. Let's go.
Good. And a man who I hope will match the enthusiasm he gave for his intro last week. It's our intrepid editor, the man with all the memes. It's Dave. You all hyped up and ready to go, mate?
Yes.
There he is again, bringing that heat.
That was a sassy yes.
It was supposed to be like YASS exclamation point, but a little less sassy. But you know how I put in like the type, like yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't say it. I can't say it. That's the best you get.
Yeah. You can show it in the edit. Just have those letters scrolling across.
Oh fuck.
All right. Well, I guess I should just say, if anyone's listening, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And we will get on with the fights. And we're going to start with the top of the card, the main event. At lightweight, Rafael Fiziev defeating Manuel Torres, KO, spinning wheel kick and punches, 15 seconds of round 2. This one, Fiziev just came out. He came out looking good from the off in this one. He wasn't going to let Torres control the cage, and he wasn't going to let him think it was just going to be a striking battle either, because he blasted, I think it was a double leg takedown from across the cage, just jammed Torres up against the cage and took him down. Didn't keep him down for very long, I don't think, but nonetheless, it was there. And then round 2, what can you say? Another perfectly placed spinning kick. Torres did partially block it, but when he fell, Fiziev gave him no chance to recover, and he just pounced on him and beat the hell out of him. And I should have known better than to pick against a local guy in a close fight, but I did. And by the way, I should also point out, I suck at picking main events. I have just a 47.5% average on those, but you can rely on me 62% of the time on co-mains. Anyway, for this fight, after it was over, Fiziev called for a dead BMF title shot, which would be against Charles, who's ranked 3. Which I guess is okay. There are a lot of people who are already tied up at lightweight. The other fight I looked at for him would be the rematch against Gamrot, who still outranks him, and of course, who he lost to just by a leg injury, nothing else. Not that much we can say on the fight, and I can see Austin jiggling around nervously there. So I'll pass it over to Austin. What do you think for this one? What's next for Fiziev, for Torres?
Well,
Any consequences of this fight?
yeah. So I'll start with the fight, right? Because it was a little entertaining, like scrap going back and forth. They weren't really like unloading their gas tanks per se, right? But Torres is out there just kind of. Someone had mentioned this to me, and I didn't think about it until I saw him fight, and I'm like, oh my god, it makes sense. They called him a lightweight DDP. So I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. He's kind of out there, not being a Bambi on his legs and just kind of being awkward on the feet. No, he just kind of he loads up on his shots, and he's got this ability because he's taller in the division to just kind of find the button, and if he finds it, it's kind of like, oh shit, it's over, right? He's not known for exactly killing his opponents, but he's out there, putting his opponents through the wood chipper per se. Kind of like how DDP would. He just kind of find a way to just bludgeon his opponents, right? Kind of walk through them when you didn't think he was actually capable of it. Because Torres is coming off of 2 KO finishes of, I want to say, Drew Dober and Grant Dawson, right? So I think I bought into the hype that he was going to find a button on Fiziev, and he almost did at the end of the first. But Fiziev, after the first back and forth little round where he was able to get that double leg, like you said, from across the cage, he kind of put the work in, made sure he was making him feel out his options and whatnot, and Torres is he's loading up a lot. He's heavy-handed, so he's trying to knock him out with every punch. And I thought that was probably a decent game plan. A guy who's a decent striker, who's shorter, so you can find your range and then eventually look to land as the fight progresses. But Fiziev had other plans because he survives the first. At the end, nearly loses the round. I thought he still won it, but he comes back and he says, "Not today, Junior," and fucking spinning back heel kick to the fucking guard, just drops him immediately. He's alive, but so Torres is out there trying to defend himself, and he's like scrambling, and Fiziev says, "Not today, son." Just catches him after a flurry of punches, and it manages to just take over the entirety of the fucking arena. I love it when you get a hometown guy that just gets there, or like the whole crowd, like just up in a fever, like pitch moment where they're just out there, just all fucking losing their minds. And Fiziev is trying to fucking rush out of the cage, but they're trying to keep him in. But it was a good fight, because it shows that Fiziev is still a guy in this division. He's still dangerous, and he's still able to pull out wins when he needs to. Torres probably, he was ranked 15 going into this. I don't think he should have been. But again, he got 2 finishes. I may have bought into the hype a little bit against 2 former decent lightweights. And who knows? It's one of those things where the division's tough, man. I mean, Fiziev isn't even that old. He's 32, 33. Like, he's a dude. He's fought pretty much all the guys. He almost beat the fucking champion twice. You know what I mean? But I would say this. Probably not a rematch for Fiziev, like you're saying. Maybe just throw him in there with like Dan Hooker. Maybe, put him up against another lightweight up-and-comer, because he's going to need to defend that spot that he has, right? Torres, he's probably going to be out of the rankings, and that's fine. He needs to just kind of get a couple of wins together, and then, because he's young too. Like, he's not an older fighter, so he's got time. He's got to fix some stuff, but because his other loss that was significant, and this was, I believe, Bahamondes, who just kind of tooled him up in their fight. But he's got time. And Fiziev, this is good. Keeps his spot, gets a finish, and gets a bonus, if I'm not mistaken.
He did, yeah.
Good shit.
Yeah. He was very excited at the end of it. They both fought Ignacio Bahamondes. The difference being, of course, that Fiziev beat him. Torres didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think it's unreasonable for Fiziev to get a shot somewhere in the top 10. But Dave, pass it over to you. What do you think of this fight? Any thoughts on what might happen to Fiziev or Torres afterwards?
I thought this was a fun fight, a hell of a performance for Fiziev. I picked Torres going in. I guess that's my fault. My bad. In hindsight, I kind of probably should have been leaning towards Fiziev. I mean, Torres has never been out of the first round in his UFC career. And Fiziev is actually younger than I thought. I mean, like Austin said, he's 33. I figured he was like 35 or something. Maybe I just thought that because, he was getting older because he has a lot of losses lately. The Gamrot loss was kind of fluky.
Yeah, he literally, I can't remember what it was. He turned his knee or something.
Yeah.
It was a leg injury, if I recall correctly.
And so then he lost to Gaethje, but you know how that went. He beat Bahamundos, and then he got KO'd by Ruffy. And, in hindsight, that's actually not that bad, but I kind of overplayed it. And so, being that he's like younger than I thought, I should have seen it coming, but a hell of a win for him. I mean, Torres is dangerous for sure. Like, just looking at his record, he's got a lot of wins, and he's never been out of the first round in the UFC. Just kudos to Fiziev for, they say it's always tough to come back from like a KO loss, or it can be. And, he got really sat down hard by Ruffy from what I remember. So, nice to see him go in there and get it done and look great doing it. I do like Dan Hooker fight, or maybe the loser of, or Patty versus, is Patty fighting BSD?
Yep, next week.
Maybe he can get mixed into the outcome of that fight somehow. I don't know. It's kind of tough to tell because also right now there's two different rankings. It's weird. He's not, Fiziev isn't even in the meta rankings, so I guess he'll be ranked this week, and Manuel Torres might go down.
It is possible.
I lost track of everything, but
we have to keep that in. We have to keep that.
I'm sure some of it will make the cutouts at the end.
Yeah.
Quite a blue.
Dan, I actually really like the Dan Hooker fight.
Yeah, that's why I settled on it.
It's not going to be boring, I'll give you that.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to be two strikers who are going to go in, and one of them's going to go down.
Absolutely. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. All right, let's get on to another fight then. Onto the co-main. At middleweight, Sharabutdin Magomedov, the Bullet, defeating Michel Pereira via decision, unanimous, 29-28 across all 3 cards, obviously. This fight kind of went the way I thought it would. Pereira's always dangerous in the first round. He's so unpredictable, capable of absolutely any kind of crazy attack. We've all seen doing somersaulting, flying kicks and all sorts. But this time it was just straightforward, right down, straight down the pipe that put Magomedov on his ass. And then Pereira controlled the most of the rest of that round, despite Magomedov's best attempts and fouls, because he was grabbing Pereira's top knot. Really should have a top knot in these days of Warriors. Shave your head and then you won't have this problem. But yeah, he was basically, Bullet was grabbing his hair to stop him trying to raise up and get some ground and pound. Then Herb Dean stepped in and went, "No, don't do that, naughty boy." And then they finished the round out. And then just before they started fighting again, Herb Dean went to his corner, went to the Bullet's corner and said, "You tell him that we're not going to accept any more fouls." It's like, for fuck's sake, Herb, this is your job. Maybe you should have actually taken a point somewhere in that little mess. Also, I've got to say, at the end of that round, Bisping asked if it was a 10-8. No, Michael, that was not a 10-8. It was not even fucking close to a 10-8 in any way. You really need to learn what a 10-8 round is. And having dissed my fellow Englishman, yeah, we had pretty much a striking battle for the next 2 rounds. No real controversy over who won those final rounds, I don't think. And the Bullet did take the unanimous decision. So a couple of questions here. As just mentioned, Herb Dean's refereeing, shockingly bad for the 3rd week in a row. What the hell are we going to do about him? And as for the Bullet, he has a 17-1 record. He's had a couple of decent finishes in the UFC. He had that double spinning elbow against Armor Petrosian. That's, without a shadow of a doubt, his most notable KO. But most of his results are decisions. His style isn't really that exciting. He uses his front leg pretty much as a jab. Doesn't use his hands as much as I'd like to see, as I think probably most people would like to see. And obviously he fights in the way he does to compensate for his missing eye and his lack of depth perception. But he's now been in 2 co-mains and a feature fight, and they've all sucked pretty much. So do we really need to see this guy in another co-main? His reach obviously is limited by the commissions that will even let him fight. And should he ever become a champion, he would be an absolute nightmare for the UFC. Fortunately, I don't think that's very likely to happen, but you never know. And Dave, what did you have to think on this one? And the questions I asked, obviously.
I don't remember what you asked. But
What do you think of Herb Dean's refereeing? Let's start roasting some herbs.
I thought it was egregious, but it feels like I'm just beating a dead horse at this point. A point should have been taken for there was 3 hair grabs in the first round, and then he said no more fouls, and then there was the eye poke. So a point should have been taken. Herb Dean sucks, and he'll double down that he was right, and it just is what it is at this point. And Andy Foster will back him up, so it's just fucking complaining about this time. It's just yelling to yell. So I'll say, in the end, even though maybe it probably should have been a draw, the right guy won, even though he sucks and he cheats. Sharabutdin definitely won the last 2 rounds. I picked Pereira, and I actually kind of expected Pereira to win because, Sharabutdin does have that, blind side. And not so much anymore, but Pereira used to be super dangerous and draw people all the time and hurt them. And, he showed that in round 1. But then I don't know if he got exhausted from all that wrestling and stuff, but rounds 2 and 3, there was a lot of dull moments. Like at one point, Herb even had to clap to warn him to get going, and then they didn't, and then he clapped again, come on, there was a lot of inactivity, and the guys staring at each other and stuff. And I think since after round 1, Pereira only threw 2 or 3 more good straight combos that didn't even land. And so, I don't know if he was just gassed or if he's just washed at this point, but Sharabutdin looked better than I thought, given his, given his limitations. His striking actually did look pretty quick. Some nice combos. He had some sneaky knees in there that caught Pereira. I don't know how hard they were, but they certainly landed. Some good fast switch kicks to the body. So I thought he actually looked better than normal in this particular fight. I don't see him going anywhere in the division really, but. And I didn't mind this fight. I thought it was fun enough. I was really annoyed with the fouls when they happened, but, it is what it is. And I actually think that he might still be a main event or co-main event type guy. I don't think he's going to go anywhere, but, if Paulo Acosta's not doing anything, I don't know if I like that. My dream fight would be Israel Adesanya. Do a main event or something.
No, no.
Izzy wins that fight. Izzy wins that fight, and he wins it handedly.
It gotta be somebody else.
It'd be like the MVP fight, but even worse. And Izzy's a legend, and he wants to keep on fighting, and he'll fight any of these guys, I bet. So let's give him a fun, winnable fight, and a striking, a kind of weird striking thing, because Shara's got that weird Muay Thai, and that's what I want. Like it or don't like it.
I said someone else has asked for the Izzy fight, and we'll get to that later eventually. Austin, what did you have to say on this one? You think do you want to see the bullet in any more co-mains?
Well, you can't do anything with them. You can't put him in a main because you don't know what kind of shit he's going to pull.
You can let him headline prelims.
No, you might as well keep him where he is because he's a selling point. He is a star over in those regions. He's, the crowd was going crazy when he, was out there striking. He wasn't even winning half the time, and when he would land, the crowd would go crazy, right? It's not like he's a bad fighter. He's a limited fighter on what he can do. Someone said this. I was listening to them. I forget who said it, so I apologize about that. But they said he's not a well-rounded fighter. He is a fighter who does a couple of things really good. His striking is probably the other thing. His get-ups are another. His cardio is also one of them. He knows how to do the basic stuff as far as what fighting is in a winning the combative engagement for what it is. But then he does shit where he's pulling the fence, or he fucking grabs somebody's hair, or he fucking leaves his hands out and deliberately pokes somebody in the eye, and he's like, what? I'm missing an eye. Michael Bisping will champion that shit on too. You know what I mean? But it's he doesn't need to do dumb shit, but he does dumb shit. And I think that's the problem with having someone like Sharabutdin, because he kind of goes out there and he's fun to watch, but he's not good enough to beat the guys he needs to. He's good enough to beat the rest of the guys in this fucking division, but you can't put him anywhere because you can't take him out of the region, right? So you might as well just keep him in the co-main, keep him as a selling point on these types of cards where you can get the local fan base interested in, Sharabutdin's going to be on there. Cool. Yeah, that's fine. You can't find anywhere else. You just got to put him in there with someone who's going to kick him off that ability to get a title shot, or you have to get a champion who's willing to go into his region if he becomes a number one contender, which I doubt. But again, not sure. I mean, you looked okay in the second and third rounds after surviving that drop that he got in the first round, which again wasn't a 10-8, but it might as well have been because he fucking pulled the hair 3 times. But whatever. You know what I mean? He should have had 2 points taken away from him because he poked him in the eye in the third or whatever. And nothing. Like, oh, I have to warn you, her fucking Dean going out there just being like, oh, don't make me do my job. Like, no, dude, that is your fucking job. Your job is to intervene when the fight is no longer like being played on a fair playing field, right? If you have to remind the fighter 3 times in a row during the same fucking round to not do the thing, and you said, don't, I'm telling you not to do it. Like, dude, just fucking take a point. Just take a point. Like, it's not that fucking hard. I guarantee you, if it wasn't Herb Dean, another ref would have fucking taken a point. And then we would have ended up in a draw at the bare minimum, right? Changes the dynamic of the fight. Maybe Sharabutdin gets a little more crazy and fucking gets caught by another straight right that, Pereira throws. Because that was the only fucking thing of notice or, positive for Pereira in this entire fight was just that fucking, drop. That's it. And it is what it is. It was more annoying the way that the fight played out and the lack of interpretation of the rules for Herb than anything, because it puts a black eye, no pun intended, on this fight. So, yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Certainly was. I was going to say something then, I forgot what it was. Never mind. Kind of been important. Let's have a look. All right, on to the next one where we can have another little reffing argument potentially. At lightweight, Matheus Camilo defeated Nazim Sadykhov via TKO punches, 1 minute 31 of round 1. Rich Mitchell, the referee, stopped the fight after Sadykhov ran onto a straight right that instantly dropped him. Sadykhov did cover up. He started to roll over to maybe try and get back to his feet. Camilo jumped on top, dropped actually 4 hammer fists, and then Rich Mitchell decided that was enough. Fight was waved off. Sadykhov immediately jumped up, not a trace of stun in his eyes or his movements. He clearly wasn't off balance or anything. Wasn't a happy bunny, definitely not a happy black wolf. Not much to talk about in this fight except the stoppage. So I guess we have to ask whether it was good or not. The commentary team were going backwards and forwards. They at first thought it was bad. Then they started to think maybe it was good. So, Austin, what do you think? Good or bad?
You could argue it's early, and I wouldn't even argue against it. I'd say it's a fine stop because the body language from Sadykhov just kind of told you it, like the way he felt immediately was just not ideal, right? And then eating the strikes regardless. If the ref is going to intervene, at least he commits to a fucking call. See, even this point right here, you could say Herb Dean could have intervened even if it wasn't the right call. At least he's sticking to a fucking call, right? That's that's probably the best way you can describe it. He at least stuck to the call. You know what I mean? And it sucks. It sucks for Nazim because he got clipped early. There wasn't really much of a fight. He got put down, a couple of hammer fists, and that was it. You can argue it's early, but this is like,
bear in mind that those hammer fists hit his arms. They didn't hit his head.
No, agreed. Yeah, I said, you're still eating the strikes regardless. I mean, I think he could have let it play out, but I thought, like I said, it was a little early. I thought it was early, but
he was intelligently defending himself by covering his head.
So you're on the team, I'm assuming, is a bad stoppage.
I'm kind of playing devil's advocate in some respects. Dave, where did you go with it? Presuming Austin's finished.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, very quickly first, I'd like to say something quick about the fight. Camilo did go in a pretty almost 2-1 underdog, and I have no idea who he was, but I know who Nazim is, and he looked pretty good. And he didn't look that fast or exceptional or anything, but he was hurting Nazim a lot with some leg kicks and making him switch stances. And Nazim came in for like a lead elbow, and like while he was coming in, the punch that cracked him and sat him down, I just thought was like chef's kiss, like caught him right coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Good job, Camilo. It'll be fun to see you. I don't know who you are, but I do now. So, about the stoppage, I was okay with it. I made a point yesterday. I'm in the camp where if you're like in a fetal position and you're covering your head, that's not intelligently defending yourself. I could be wrong. That's just the way I see it. I don't train or nothing like that, but that's my stance, and I'll stick with it. The way he fell, I mean, I guess he was fine, but I was almost worried about his leg being twisted weird. Like, you know how sometimes fighters, when they get knocked out and their leg bends kind of weird. So he was fine, but in my opinion, you can't cower up and go fetal and, you know, turtle up and just take four. It was a good stoppage. Or I'm not sure if it was an okay stoppage. I was fine with it. If the ref let it play out longer, I wouldn't have cared. But in the days of, or like in the times of, we're going at refs for letting fights go too long and stuff and complaining about that, this was perfectly okay. And we should exercise on the side of caution, especially on these fights that, you know, there's not a big outcome on them. And no, it was. I thought it was a good stoppage.
Well,
good enough.
There's quite a big outcome for Nazim Sadykhov because he loses his winner's bonus. But
yeah.
I've looked at this. I've seen it a couple of times. I didn't obviously see it from Rich Mitchell's angle. It did look bad when Sadykhov fell. His legs completely collapsed, but he was turned away slightly. You could see from the angle he was actually turning that he wasn't unconscious, and then when he did roll over, the blows came down. Those 4 blows landed in maybe a second and a half tops. I think he should have been given a little bit longer to try and recover, but I can see why Rich Mitchell might have thought it was terrible. I'm not going to hate him on it because at least, as Austin said, at least he's trying to do his job rather than Herb Dean, who refuses to do his actual job and get involved every fucking time. Although Herb did actually jump in on a couple of fights tonight. But yeah, I didn't like the stoppage. I would have liked to see it go on. I think Sadykhov had a tough fight against Ziam last time he was out. And although he took a bit of a beating in that, he managed to survive for a couple of rounds. I think it was a little bit early, but it wasn't a championship fight. So yeah, I guess I can forgive him for it. Don't hate you, Rich Mitchell. I reserve that for Herb Dean later. Anyway, next up we had at flyweight Asu Almabayev defeating Charles Johnson, submission, Suloev stretch in the third round, 3-3-3 of the third round, all the threes. Absolutely dominated performance by Almabayev. He showed everything. He was faster in the striking exchanges, able to close the range when he wanted to, and then go for it and get the takedowns. Johnson really showed his veteran chops, and he was using his length very well in defense. But Almabayev was able to chain wrestling attacks together. It really was a masterclass, I think, in MMA grappling, this fight. This was the type of grappling heavy fight we don't mind watching. There was no laying and praying, not really for a single moment. By round 3, Johnson did need the finish. He did briefly threaten a triangle, of all things, but Almabayev was just in flow state. He was not going to be stopped. And to use the Bruce Lee quote, he just became water and just filled every void that was left for him.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
And when it looked as if he was going to slip off Johnson's back, he instead demonstrated the Suloev stretch to fans, giving us, if not Johnson, an amusing-looking submission at the end. There's a terrible photo of him on X. Like, how embarrassing is this? You know, getting your arsehole stretched to the world. Great fight, especially for Almabayev, but nothing really learned or gained from it. Almabayev did call for a title shot, but he's going to have to wait, regardless of how good that performance is. A Charles Johnson win just isn't enough to get him that far. But fantastic flyweight performance. And is it Austin's turn to go first? Might be. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, you like these guys anyway. Flyweight's kind of your weight. Not in a Brian Campbell kind of way.
Yeah. No. That's the thing, man. Like, I didn't have high hopes for Almabayev after he had kind of got his eyes scraped out by Manal Cape. You know, I was like, okay, it kind of proved a point of like, well, if you kind of take the fight away from him, he usually kind of forgets what he's doing, and they're kind of just it puts him in a bad spot, and he doesn't know how to react, right? And again, he was fouled multiple times in that fight, so I get it. But you know, He's on a 3-fight win streak now. So he's on this little trajectory upwards. Like, he's finished his last 2 opponents and he's looked pretty impressive doing it, you know? And I think this is the thing where you kind of like, okay, well, you had a tough loss and now you're kind of bouncing back and showing that you are capable of not so much maybe improving, but showcasing what you're good at, right? He's not trying to exchange so much on the feet as much as he's using exchanges to get to the ground, right? You know, Charles Johnson is probably one of the better flyweights that's underrated in this division. I mean, hell, he beat the current champion, right? And he put a whipping on that kid, you know, Josh Van, and he puts himself in positions where he tries to fight not so much his opponent's fight, but his fight, you know, and he could not get to his fight. And I think that was the one thing that sucks for Johnson, is that like once he figured out like he wasn't going to be able to stop the wrestling on a consistent basis, he kind of went into defense mode. And usually, like, if you ever played, you know, defense, you know, in, you know, sports, sometimes you call it to prevent defense because it prevents you from winning. And I think Almabayev just kind of took advantage of that and just managed to find the submission, which if you've ever been put in one of those, it sucks. It sucks. There's a wrestling version of it. It's kind of like a spladle or some shit. I forget what it's called, but it basically, you're just, like you said, opening your ass crack to the world. It's embarrassing. It sucks. It's painful. It's embarrassing. And it's not easy to fight once you get into it either. So, hey, you know, Charles Johnson's still a guy in this division. You know, it wasn't an easy win from Bayev, but, you know, he looked good. Good for him.
Yeah, for sure. Dave, you like this one? Some nice fast action.
Yeah, this was a good fight. Great performance from Almabayev. You know, I love a Suloev stretch. I think, you know, that's really uncommon.
Yeah,
he beat a guy that he needed to beat, but beating the number 15 guy isn't going to give you a title shot when you're 7, or, you know, he's probably 2 fights away from a title. I don't know, but he's not getting a title shot. I actually did, you know, I love Charles Johnson. He lost, and, you know, pretty obviously, but he did have some moments, and he still looked good for, I mean, he looked good enough for a 35-year-old flyweight. He hasn't really lost a step that much, just so he's a really good fighter. You know, it'll be, you know, I guess he's the gatekeeper guy to the top 10 of the division. And I don't know what's next for Asu. Maybe he can fight, I don't know, does he get to fight up in the rankings after beating Charles Johnson? I guess.
Probably
there's
not.
no one,
I don't know.
You should probably just put him
I
up
guess you could
against
fight
Kyoji.
Kyoji or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Agreed.
Loner is booked, and I don't think he really deserves to fight that much higher up. I mean, that's a good win, but you can do Kyoji or maybe Moreno or something. I don't know. But good win. Yeah. It's fun watching him fight. Looking forward to watching him fight more.
I've just looked this up. It's a good trivia question for you. I asked how many people had the people who had got the Twister submission last week. There are 4 Suloev stretchers. Care to guess who the 4 are? Obviously, Asu Almabayev just had one.
Yeah, I know him.
I'll be impressed if you get all 3.
I'll get Zabit.
Yep.
And I'll do Aljo.
Yep. Actually on the same card.
And maybe Ariana Lipsky.
No. It's a man.
Oh, God damn it. Oh, she had some kind of stretch.
Possibly.
God damn it. I remember someone screaming. I don't know the last one. I do remember kind of someone screaming from one, but
it's an old one. It has to go back quite a few years. Any idea, Austin?
Is it?
It's me throwing
Damien?
random. Who? Sorry, no, Damon Blackshear. No, that's the Twister that you couldn't remember.
No. Damian Maia was it?
Oh, Damian Maia. No, not Damian Maia.
Damn it. Okay, I would have thought he could have got one.
It was a UFC 157, if that helps. Kenny Robertson defeated Brock Jardine, apparently, by a Suloev.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
I would never got that in a million years.
Yeah.
You gave me a million guesses, and I wouldn't have got it.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I'm just being mean, because I can be. Next up, we had at middleweight, Ikram Eliskarov defeated Bruno Ferreira by unanimous decision, 30-27 across all 3 cards. Don't really need to talk about that one. Ikram did what he had to do, won the fight. So instead, we'll go up to middleweight, still at middleweight, in fact. Asupiyan Magomedov, there are a lot of Magomedovs on this card, defeated Michał Oleksiejczuk, the Hussar, by submission guillotine choke at 3 minutes 25 of round 1. I visualized this. It went exactly as I saw it happening. I could not have scripted this one any better. My favorite fight of the night, simply because I absolutely nailed the result. The Hussar is always dangerous, but people underestimate Abbas at times, probably because of that Sean Strickland loss where he just gassed out. But Abbas actually has some dangerous striking, at least partially because of his frame. He uses his height and reach very well. And as he proved in this fight, he also has dangerous weapons in close. That elbow that he caught Oleksiejczuk with was absolutely mint. And of course, he has it backed up by that Dagestani wrestling. This is the guy who called out Israel Adesanya afterwards. I didn't mind that call out at all. I certainly don't hate it. And again, fairly short fight. Dave, anything to say on this one?
Yeah. I thought that I was hoping that Michael could win. I like him a lot. And since, he just went to the Fighting Nerds, that just made me like him more. And he normally has pretty clean boxing. And I was just hoping that he could get it done. And I thought he looked good early in the fight, but once Abus got him, it was just game over. So good one for Abus. Tough to see Michael lost, but he's still got plenty of winning left to do. And I enjoyed the fight. Good performance. That's it. I don't have much to say on this.
Yeah, fair enough. Austin?
I mean, I think Oleksiejczuk is kind of living up to his own hype, almost to his detriment. Like, he's kind of going out there being a marauder in this middleweight division. He's either going to go in there and kill you, or he's going to die trying, right? So him getting caught doesn't surprise me. The way he got caught does. It's the elbow that clips him, right? And then it's in short, succession that he gets clipped again and then gets hurt and knocked out, right? And I think that's the thing where you kind of look at, like you said, Abus has been a guy, like I remember seeing him in the PFL championship, right, against Luis Taylor, and he gets clipped right off the bat, right? He's had ups and downs in the UFC as of late, but I think he's capable right now of putting it together, and this would be a good time to kind of see how far he can go, because, like you said, he's been fighting some pretty good competition, but it would be interesting to put him in, let's say, just for instance, this is probably lazy matchmaking, but still, a middleweight who you could put him up against is probably Sharabutdin, right? I don't know if you want to put him up against Sharabutdin. I mean, technically, he got a quick and easy win. Michel Pereira is coming off of a win prior against Abus, so similar, but not the same. I mean, you can't put him up against up in the rankings again because he lost to most of those guys. So I would say keep him right out of it. But I mean, we can't really take too much off of it. It's not like Mikhail was one of these dudes who was like a top 10, top 15 guy. He's a good fighter. If you sleep on him, he'll kill you, usually with a liver shot or a hook to the face. But Abus is, he's good when he shows up. I don't know if he's going to be able to consistently show up though. So
fair. I thought he was ranked actually, but I can't see him.
Abus?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think he is ranked. I think he was ranked at a time.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, put him up against Sharabutdin.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not ranked in either version. That takes care of the main card then. Prelims, we don't have that long to go, so we'll just do a best of the rest. I'm just going to steal one straight away, and it won't take long because the fight didn't take long either. The second fastest KO in light heavyweight history, 25-year-old Abdul Rahman Yakayev defeated Julius Walker KO punches. This kid is going to be a real threat to light heavyweight as long as he doesn't get injured or anything, because in this one the Hunter completely squeezed the juice box, not jukebox. First punch, a straight right hand, landed in about 4 seconds, followed it up, couple of hammer fist, and done. Bisping said it was the 7th fastest finish in UFC history. And so I did some checking, and there are a few 8-second demolitions, 4 of them, I believe. And Leon Edwards has one, so he's in good company there. So, yeah, maybe we'll see him get one in 5 seconds and beat bloody Jorge Masvidal's bloody fastest finish. I'd kind of like that. That'd be fun. Yeah. Masvidal's not my favorite. Masvidal's not my favorite guy, as you can tell. Dave, what do you want to go for your best of the rest? If you have one, if you're still there, take yours, Austin. What do you want to go for your best of the rest?
I'm muted. I wanted to say Con Oakley, the kid from Australia. You know, he had a hell of a win. I think that was like club and sub. But can I pass and give my turn to Mouse, and he can talk about the fucking tall dorks?
Oh yeah, it was a nice submission. I don't know whether.
What do you think about that submission? I want to hear what you think about it. I want to use my turn that way.
Okay. No, that's fun actually.
That's fair.
That is good. I actually put down the only question I had about this one is, can you put someone to sleep with a neck crank? Because, and apparently so, by the way. Buffer on the announcement said it was a rear naked choke. Wiki says it was a neck crank. I did have a look at it, and it was clearly it wasn't a choke. It was clearly him just pulling his own jaw into his carotid artery and cutting the blood off to his brain, and it completely sent him to sleep. He was out for quite a while. Magnificent submission from Rizbayev. I've put quite a few photographs up for Dave. That's why he's mentioning it. Austin, any of the others?
Actually, yeah. Give me a second. I gotta try to find it. I haven't. Damn it! Where'd he go? Hazimov. Hazimov is fun for me because he's just a straight wrestler. I love the chain wrestling. It was kind of like a wrestler's delight. He got gassed in the second, recovered a little bit well. He's facing a young dude who I don't think had a ton of experience, but you know he was trying. He was trying. Hazimov literally just put on a wrestling clinic in the first round. I think he got 9 takedowns in the first round. Yes, and he got 14 overall, and I think the that's like a record for the UFC. 14 takedowns in a fight, if I'm not mistaken. Anywho,
are we talking about the same card?
Yeah.
Which fight?
The prelims final from Hazimov.
Hazimov. Hey, it's okay.
Hazimov.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And then Eric Nolan was his opponent. That's the one where it's they put in a rookie with a guy who looked good, like a true prospect.
Yeah. You know, you fooled me by picking a decision as your favorite fight from that.
No, I liked it because it's one of those ones where it's like you can tell he has a lot of shit to work on. He's very rusty with his hands, or very kind of loose with them, but he hits like a brick. You could tell, like he fucking put a whooping on the other guy. If he wasn't gassed, he probably would have killed him. But yeah, but I did want to kind of shout out where's his name? Daniil Donichenko, the Ukrainian. That was a fun fight. They just went after it, and he got the finish.
Yeah,
pretty good fight.
It sure was, and 100K bonus he got for that one as well.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, I was going to mention it if you didn't. Very quickly, I don't know if everyone saw it or not. We had the first fight of the night: Tahir Abdullayev defeating Jefferson Nascimento. 3rd round TKO punches. 4 minutes 28. Referee Jim Perdios stepped in for a bad stoppage result. All the commentary, definitely Bisping, was saying this is a bad stop. What do you think of this one? Just as the last one, we'll finish on a bad moment for the card.
You want me or Dave?
Yeah. As soon as you open your mouth, you can say
it. I get why people would be upset by this one. I mean, it wasn't like it was a great fight. It was weird. There were some weird moments in it.
He's got a nasty ground and pound. Some of the videos I was watching this morning on the regional scene just batters some.
I think they were talking to each other as they were taunting, you know. It's not like Jefferson was out there like, you know, trying to win the fight. He kept circling on the outside. So, I mean, he got caught, got put down, and then he got clipped really good. And I think that led to a sequence where he was just eating strikes. Did you think he was eating strikes? Because it looked like he was actually taking them and not looking good. I can understand it.
He took a couple of cleanish shots, but he was clearly not that badly hurt. There was no reason,
agreed.
No reason to stop it. Play it that way.
Well, he wasn't out. He wasn't on his way to going out just yet, but it's not bad body language because he's just accepting the punches coming in. They could have let it play out, but whatever. I think they kind of looked at it and were like, "Oh, well, we don't want this guy to get killed." I get it. Is what it is. It sucks. Got to be able to move and defend yourself.
What do you think, Dave? Good or bad stoppage, Dave? If you're not muted.
What did I think about it?
Yeah, the stoppage. Good or bad?
Good enough.
Ooh, controversial.
It was good enough. I didn't care. I didn't think twice about it, actually. I didn't think about it at all.
I can't get any agreement tonight. I'll tell you now. No one's going to agree with me. I think they're all sulking.
I'll agree with you. I'll agree with you. I change.
Don't suck up to him, Dave. What are we doing here?
It was shit.
Take a stance. Take a stance.
I am taking a stand. I didn't really have an opinion one way or another, and Mouse talked me into it.
Fair enough.
That's not taking a stand.
It is taking a stand against you.
Okay.
Good man, Dave. Good man. All right, that wraps it up for the actual card. We did, of course, have our Tapology group going on with it. And in third place, we had a Crossover MMA, our regular up there, and MMA Artist. Were both in third with 540 points. In second place was Jonah Far Out with 565 points. And in first place, you can guess it wasn't Austin. He found his nut last week, that lucky blind squirrel thing. Yeah, it's yours truly, the mouse with the mostest, 580 points. And just let me get to another piece of paper or something else to look at. And that also wraps up the Tapology this quarter in the Tapology. And in third place was MMA Artist, 5,970 points. In second place, we didn't know if he was going to carry this all the way through, but it was Daz Riccio with 6,145 points. And in first place, even though I sacrificed 100 points by making stupid picks and not picking Cyril Gam, for instance, it's your mouse with the most again, Danger Mouse, 6,255 points in first place. And for the half-year totals, it's Daz Riccio is actually in first place, I'm in second place, and MMA Artist is in third place. I won't read those totals out. Crossover just slightly behind in fourth. That's the 11,000 club. And that's it for Tapology. So it just leaves us to rate that card. And I think did I make Dave go first last week? I can't remember. Austin, you can go first. I don't care.
I had fun watching it. I mean, some of the contests weren't the best, but it looked like they kind of serviced a whole lot of hometown cooking for some finishes. But, not everything played out to the way that you would think. And that led for some excitement. And, judging, officiating, and whatnot. I mean, I had fun watching it. I'll take a point off of it, though. So instead of giving it an 8, I'll give it a 7 because, Herb Dean can't do his job.
That is fair. Dave, go on. Because I still haven't thought of a score yet.
What did Austin give it, a 7?
You gave it a 7, I believe, yeah.
That's pretty good. I'll give it a 7 too.
Yeah.
You know what? No.
God damn.
I agree with most of what Austin said, but also I really liked that it was early, and at the time that the fights ended, I still had time for a nap, and then still had my whole evening and afternoon ahead of me. So I'll give it a 7.5.
That's fair. I agree.
Yeah.
So you got a 7.5 now?
No.
You agree?
I just agree with your. I agree with your assessment. I gave it a 7.
Okay. All right.
Nice try, Dave. Nice try. Yep, I didn't particularly like this card. It's on a bit too early for me. 2 o'clock is not great. So I'm going to give this I think it was roughly on a par with last week's card in a lot of ways. Just that it wasn't in the Apex this time. Again, not a lot of fights that had a lot of consequence to them, I don't think. So what can I do?
Are you gonna pull a lazy?
No, I'm not. I'm just debating how generous or not generous to be with it. I don't think I can quite give it. Can I give it? I'm hovering out of it. I will stay in line with the. Oh, in fact, no. Dave picked a 7, didn't you? You went 7.
He went 7.5.
Oh, that's right. You went 7, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Let's be less generous than you. Then I'll give it a 6.99.
That's fair. That's fair.
I did consider giving it a little more generous, or quite a lot less generous. I almost gave it a 6.76 or even a 6.67, but I'm not going to. Dave will shout at me. Yeah. Okay, that just about wraps it up for us this week. We won't be back next week because those traitorous colonial bastards are celebrating making the worst cup of tea in history, so there is no UFC next week. We will, however, be back for UFC 329 McGregor versus Holloway at International Fight Week. So until then, I've been Danger Mouse, they've been Dave in Austin, and we're out of here. I'll see you later, bleeders.
We did it! Yeah!
There might be a preview show. There'll probably be a preview show before the fights sometime. Right?
Quite
We'll see, yeah, we'll see.
I wasn't committing to it because every time I've said in the past, we'll do a preview show. We've never actually got around to doing it. So
fucking Austin.
Yeah, as long as Mouse doesn't say it.
If he doesn't happen, I'll blame you now, Dave. And I'd like a copy of this recording, please.
I swear to God, if you're gonna just
I'm trying to get him out of my system, Austin.
I'm hungover. It's fine. We're good.
And a man of not doing well. Great start.
God damn it, Mouse.
This is what I get for doing a show completely sober. Not a drop of alcohol has touched my mouth.
Jesus Christ, how fucking stupid am I? Don't do drugs.
I can't remember who got it wrong now. Was it Jed or Mike Heck who did get that wrong? One of them.
I think it was Mike.
One of them was wrong, and they probably did the same thing I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did.
We literally were doing
tab at the top.
Yep. Yeah, Jed and him were kind of going back and forth. That's why I was like, we just had an MMA fighting moment with the rankings. I love it.
I'm dumb, you're smart, I'm ugly, you're good looking, you're the best, I'm the worst, yada yada.